Hey folks, welcome to week 2. For homework, we read an excerpt of how to understand your gender. And the chapter that we read was What is Gender? Okay, so the first thing that I want us to do today is just to dip back into that what is gender reading that we did and just kind of skim the things that your peers have highlighted, maybe catch up to some of the conversations or respond to people who responded to you. So just take a moment to do that, 5 minutes-ish, and just kind of go ahead and do that. Just kind of check in with your peers, check in with the reading, and then we're going to start doing the stuff that we're going to do today. So that's task 1. Once you have done that, what I want y'all to do is I want you to take a moment and check out Hill and Mays's book, The Gender Book. Now, this is like a comic book, and it looks a bit like this, right? And so this is a PDF of it. And I want you to spend a good bit of time today just kind of engaging with this work in class. Now, one of the things that I did want to mention is that when you open the Gender Book, the default in Adobe or whatever else that you're doing is going to give you the single page view. So you are going to want to adjust. I want you to download the Gender Book. It's a PDF. And then once you've downloaded it, I want you to adjust the viewing settings so that you're seeing a 2-page spread. And that's really important because Hill and Mays kind of rely on this kind of 2-page spread. And so this way you'll be able to actually see the spreads that they are doing that kind of go across 2 panels. All right, and there's a video right here to show you how to do that if you're not sure. Okay, so there's that. So we're just gonna really engage with the Gender Book in class today. So the first thing that I want you to do as you're just kind of, you don't have to read the whole thing. It's just kind of flip through it, right? It's kind of cool, or in your case, scroll through it. I want you to go ahead and I want you to kind of really notice how the Gender Book is talking about Gender 101 concepts. In particular, notice the distinctions that they're making between sex and orientation, or between gender identity and gender expression, right? And also pay attention to the visuals that you feel are really helpful. Because, we obviously read this piece on what is gender, but there's something about visualizing the way that the complexities of gender that are really helpful. So I want you to notice the things that you're like, oh, okay, this is really helpful, okay? So after you've engaged with the Gender Book, which could take about, 20 minutes or more, so then I want you to head over to 2B here, and I want you to create your own Gender 101 drawing or doodle, right? You don't have to be an artist here, right? But the key thing that I want us to sort of get a handle on are the distinctions between sex and gender identity, and then between sex, gender identity, and gender expression, and then of course between sex, gender identity, gender expression, and orientation, which is also called sexuality, right? So that's the thing that I want y'all to do. So you might want to grab you some pens and markers. Some of you might be super fancy and have a tablet. That's cool too. But what I want you to do is just kind of take 10 minutes and create some sort of illustration so that you can have a handle on the distinction between these things, right? All right, so there's that. And then from there, we're going to prepare for class discussion. So what I want you to do is to take a photo or a screenshot, depending on how you created your doodle or your drawing. Just take a photo of that. And then I want you to reflect on your biggest takeaways from this exercise today, how it's helped you to understand or further grasp the piece that we read about, what is gender, right? Then I want you to head over to the Unit 1 chat on Slack. I've linked to it here. And then just write down that reflection in 3 to 4 sentences. Really try to be precise, right? Because I think that sometimes that lack of precision when we're talking about, distinctions between gender expression and gender identity, between sex, right, and gender, those things really matter. Even between orientation, right, and gender, all of those things. I think that sometimes there are wounds that come from not being precise. So I want you to take some time to kind of really be clear. And so go ahead, write your 3 to 4 sentence reflection, and then attach with it a screenshot or a photo of your drawing or doodle, right, that you did for the earlier part of the exercise, okay? So you'll post that up there. And then the rest of the class, we're just going to be engaging with our peers' posts, right? So I think that, responding to 2 people is perfectly fine. Just make sure that they're meaningful responses. And just, have a back and forth conversation. One of the reasons why I have purposely created assignments where you only have to respond to 2 people is so that I want you to actually engage in those conversations. Obviously, you can have conversations that are with more people. It's just, that's the sort of minimum, right? Okay, so that's what we're doing in class. And then for homework, we are reading an excerpt of Manon's Beyond the Gender Binary, right? And so, yeah, ignore my neighbor's dogs. I really just want you to read pages 22 to 35. This is like a chapbook kind of situation, so it's really, really short. But I just want you to read 22 to 35 of their book, right? And do the active reading exercise. All right, so that's what we're doing in class, and that is what's for homework. Let's have an awesome day.